So what will be the length of the mean turn? Whatever the mean turn is there, what is the length of it? So we can calculate by using this formula: 2 times the length, 2.3 tau plus 0.24 extra, where L is the gross length of the stator, T is the pole pitch in meter. So depth of stator core below the slots, how we can decide that? There will be certain solid portion below the slots in the stator, which is called depth of the stator core. The flux density in the stator core lie between 1.4 to 1.2 Tesla. The flux passing through the stator core itself core is half the flux per pole. So flux in stator core section phi c, half of flux. Area of stator core is nothing but phi c by 2 bc. Area of stator core, so AC, so we are just flux equal to Li, right? So I am just replacing that. So hence depth of core dca, so we can calculate like this using the design data obtained so far. Outer diameter of stator core can be calculated as d plus 2 into depth of stator slots plus depth of core. Like this we can calculate outer diameter, but d is the inner diameter of stator. So now we just finished the stator core. Now we are going for rotor design. So this is the rotor design. There are two types of rotor construction. One is squirrel cage rotor, other type is the slip ring rotor. Most of induction motors are squirrel cage type. These are having advantages of rigid and simple in construction and comparatively cheaper. However, they have the disadvantage of low starting torque. Starting torque will be low. In this type, the rotor consists of bars of copper or aluminum accommodated in the rotor slots. In case of slip ring induction motor, the rotor complex in construction, costlier, with the advantage that they have better starting torque. This type of rotor consists of star connected distributed 3-phase winding. That is the default for the slip ring induction motors. Construction should be almost, we can say, star only. Yeah. So length of air gap, whatever the length is there, what should be the length of air gap? Between stator and rotor is the air gap, which is very critical part. The performance parameters of the motor like magnetizing current, power factor, overload capacity, cooling and noise are affected by length of air gap. So it needs to be properly chosen. So power factor, the MMF required to send the flux through air gap is proportional to the product of flux density and length of air gap. Figure shows phasor diagrams of an induction motor with the two different air gap lengths. With the increase in air gap length, magnetizing MMF increases and hence greater the magnetizing current. Therefore, phase angle between applied voltage and the stator current will increase, which gives a lower power factor. This is phi 2, this is phi 1. Phi 2 is more, you can see it here. So what about overload capacity? Overload capacity of an induction motor is the ratio of maximum output to the rated output, and the maximum output is obtained from circle diagram. So we have circle diagram, we will discuss it later. The diameter of circle diagram is Vs by Xs, where Xs is a reactance of motor. The length of air gap affects the leakage reactance. If the length of air gap is large, the leakage flux is reduced, hence reduced value of leakage reactance. With a decrease in the value of leakage reactance, the diameter of circle increases and hence overload capacity increases. So pulsation losses, the tooth pulsation losses which is produced due to variation in reactance of the air gap is reduced with a larger air gap. Cooling, the larger air gap provide better facilities for cooling at the air gap surface due to the cylindrical surface of stator and rotors are separated by large distance. Noise, noise in induction motor is reduced with the increase in air gap length due to reduction in leakage flux, which is the cause of noise. So hence the length of air gap is selected considering the advantages and disadvantages of larger air gap length. Advantages: increasing overload capacity, increasing cooling, reduce the unbalanced magnetic pull, reduced in tooth pulsation, reduction in noise. What are the disadvantages? Magnetizing current will increase, power factor will reduce. So, magnetizing current and power factor being very important parameters in deciding the performance of induction motor. Induction motors are designed for optimum value of air gap or minimum air gap as possible. Hence, in designing the length of air gap following empirical formula we can use. So, a length of air gap LZ is nothing but we will use 2 into root DL. This is the empirical formula we are using. So, we are going for a design of squirrel cage rotor. Design of squirrel cage rotor. So in this here we are discussing design of squirrel cage rotor. So number of slots, again we have to decide it. Proper number of rotor slots are to be selected in relation to number of stator slots, otherwise undesirable effects will be found at the starting of rotor. Cogging and crawling are two phenomena which are observed due to wrong combination of number of rotor and stator slots. In addition, induction motor may develop unpredictable hooks and cuts in torque speed characteristics, or the motor may run with a lot of noise. Yeah, so whatever the slots are there in the stator, for example, say for example like I'm just trying to draw, say like that, whatever the rotor slots are there, they should be in relation to that. They should be in relation to that, otherwise there are some impacts. So what is crawling? The rotating magnetic field produced in the air gap will be usually non-sinusoidal and generally contains odd harmonics of order 3rd, 5th and 7th. Third harmonic flux will produce 3 times the magnetic poles compared to that of fundamental. Similarly, 5th and 7th harmonic will produce 5 and 7 times the fundamental respectively. The presence of harmonics in the flux wave affects the torque speed characteristics. The motor with presence of 7th harmonic is to have a tendency to run the motor at 1/7 of its normal speed. So, what's about cogging? In some cases where in the number of rotor slots are not in proper relation to number of stator slots, the machine refuses to run and remains stationary. Under such conditions, there will be a locking tendency between rotor and stator. Such phenomena we will say cogging. Hence, in order to avoid such bad effects, a proper number of rotor slots are to be selected in relation to number of stator slots. In addition, rotor slots will be skewed by one slot pitch to minimize the tendency of cogging. Torque defects like synchronous hooks and cups and noisy operation while running, we can prevent it. Effect of skewing will be slightly increase the rotor resistance because the length of the bar is going to increase a little bit and increase in the starting torque. However, this will increase the leakage reactance and hence reduces the starting current and power factor. So, selection of number of rotor slots. The number of rotor slots may be selected using the following guideline. To avoid cogging and crawling, whatever stator slots are there, whatever rotor slots are there, they should not be equal. Their difference should not be multiple of 3 times of poles. So, to avoid synchronous hooks and curves in torque speed characteristics, so the difference whatever it is there, they should not be equal to P, 2P, 5P like that. Simply for reducing to noisy operation related, their difference should not be equal to 1 or 2. That is nothing but P plus or minus 1, P plus or minus 2. So, we decided the rotor number of slots now. So, what about rotor bar current? What about rotor bar current? Bar current in the rotor of a squirrel cage induction motor may be determined by comparing EMMF developed in rotor and stator. So, the stator MMF is about 15% higher because of magnetizing MMF. Rotor MMF is 0.85 mm. So, if you are taking stator MMF as 1, so rotor will be 0.85. Yeah. So number of rotor bars is nothing but number of rotor slots. Rotor bar current IB, rotor MMF IB SR by 2, rotor stator MMF 3 into IS into TS. So thus we just framed one equation here. Cross sectional area of rotor bar. Sectional area of rotor conductor can be calculated by rotor bar current and assumed value of current density for rotor bar. As a guideline, generally we will take 4 to 7 ampere per mm square. So like that we can calculate the area. Shape and size of rotor slots. Generally, semi-closed or closed slots with a very small or narrow openings are employed for rotor slots. In case of fully closed slots, the rotor bars are force fit into slots from the sides of the rotor. The rotors with the closed slots are giving performance to the motor in the following way. As the rotor slot is closed, the rotor surface is smooth at the air gap, hence motor draws lower magnetizing current, reduced noise as the air gap characteristics are better, increased leakage reactance, reduced starting current, overload capacity is reduced, undesirable complex air gap characteristics. From the above, it can conclude that semi-closed slots are more suitable, hence they are employed in motor rotor calculations. So, copper loss in rotor bars. Knowing the length of the rotor bars and resistance of the rotor bars, we can calculate copper losses. How can we can calculate the length of rotor bar? That is nothing but L plus allowance for skewing. Rotor bar is nothing but 0.021 into LB by AB. So copper loss just it is nothing but I square R into number of rotor bars. End ring current. What will be the end ring? All the rotor bars are short circuited by connecting them to the end ring at both end rings. As the rotor is a short circuited, there will be current flow because of induced EMF in the rotor bars. The distribution of current and end rings are shown in figure. Considering the bars under the one pole pitch, half the number of bars the end ring carry the current in one direction and the other half in the opposite direction. Thus, the maximum end ring current may be taken as the sum of average current in half of number of bars under one pole. So, half of number of balls in one pole we will take it as a current. So, maximum end ring current I is nothing but number of bars over half pole pitch. So, we are just taking. So, this is the full pole pitch. We are just taking half pole pitch. So, the RMS value of bar current is nothing but IB by whatever value is the maximum by root 2. So, like this we calculated the I current. So, area of end ring. Again, current density we are taking here 4.5 to 7.5. So, from that we can calculate area. Yeah, so with this we just concluded rotor design for squirrel cage induction motor. Now we will go for wound rotor. So this is a design of wound rotor. For wound rotor, squirrel cage, but still starter is same. Only there will be difference in the rotor and a little bit about mechanical aspects. These are all the types of induction motor where in rotor also carries a distributed star connected three-phase winding. At one end of rotor there are three slip rings mounted on the shaft. Three ends of windings are connected to slip rings. External resistance can be connected to these slips at the starting, which will be inserted in series with the windings, which will help in increasing the torque at the starting. Such type of induction motors are employed where very high starting torque is required. Number of rotor slots. Number of rotor slots would never be equal to number of stator slots. Generally for wound rotor motors, a suitable value is assumed for number of rotor slots per pole per phase and then total number of rotor slots are calculated. So selected number of slots should be such that tooth width must satisfy the flux density limitation. Semi-closed slots are used for rotor slots similar to earlier case. So number of rotor turns. The voltage between slip rings on open circuit must be limited for safety values. In general, voltage between slip rings for low and medium voltage machines must be limited to 400 volts. For motor with higher voltage ratings and a large size motor, this voltage must be limited to 1000 volts. So based on assumed voltage between the slip rings, comparing the individual voltage ratio in stator and rotor, the number of turns on rotor winding can be calculated like that. So ER by ES is nothing but TR by TS. These are all winding factors for a stator and rotor. So it is just a basic equation for a calculation and comparison. Rotor current and conductor cross section. So as assumed, we will consider 85% of stator MMF for the rotor calculations. So just we are considering, so this is 3 phase, 3 into I into number of turns. So as we are going for conductors, we will consider 2. So rotor current per phase is nothing but 0.85 ISTST rotor conductor area. Similarly current density we will keep like 3 to 5 amperes. Yeah, here we will keep little bit low when compared to squirrel cage case. No load current. No load current of induction motor has two components, magnetizing component and similarly iron loss component. So we will calculate no load current like this. Magnetizing current, what about that? Magnetizing current of induction motor is responsible for producing required amount of flux in different parts of machine, and this current can be calculated from all magnetic circuit of the machine. The ampere turns for all the magnetic circuits such as stator core, stator teeth, air gap, rotor core, rotor teeth gives total ampere turns required for magnetic circuit. Based on the total ampere turns of magnetic circuit, the magnetizing current can be calculated. So magnetizing current we are calculating here. So P is the number of pole pairs. So 8030 is nothing but total ampere turns of the magnetic circuit at 60 degree from center of the pole. Say if this is the pole, so we will take 60 degree from the center of the pole. T phase is nothing but number of stator turns per phase. Iron loss component of current, that is IW, and no load power factor we can calculate by using IW by I0. So I0 is total current. So dispersion coefficient, we have one dispersion coefficient. So power factor is an important factor in designing of induction motor. Power factor depends upon two factors. Magnetizing current, a large value of magnetizing current indicates poor power factor, very low power factor. Ideal short circuit current, ISC, it is defined as current drawn by the motor at standstill. A large value of ideal short circuit current will be drawn for a small value of leakage reactance, giving good power factor. Dispersion coefficient is the ratio of magnetizing current to short circuit current. Yeah. So for small values of Im and Xs, dispersion coefficient is small and power factor is good. Thus, for small value of dispersion coefficient, power factor is good, whereas for large value of dispersion coefficient, power factor is poor. So magnetizing current we can calculate by using this formula. So dispersion coefficient, we have an empirical formula here how to calculate it. Yeah, from equation, machine for a given L length and diameter, dispersion coefficient is large for a greater number of poles, consequently making the pole poor power factor. Yeah, thus slowing the speed machine having a poor power factor. This is one of the characteristics maximum power for the condition max for maximum power factor. Yeah, we will discuss these things in the coming sessions also clearly. Yeah, here whatever sigma is there, that is the dispersion coefficient YAB OB. So that value 0.05, 0.01 with the power factor values of these. Hence, there is large decrease in maximum power factor when dispersion coefficient increases. So what is the impact on overloading capacity? Overloading capacity is so that also have a greater impact when the impact is decreases with the increase in dispersion coefficient. So this dispersion coefficient we should calculate thoroughly. Yeah, this is about the induction motor design, friends. We just briefed the formulas in a simple manner. So these formulas we are going to use in our coming sessions, where we are going to discuss in a detailed manner. This is just to give overall view how the designing of induction motor will be there. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for many more updates. Thank you, friends.